Hey, Borrowed. Hello, daughter. How are you? I'm trying to get myself together here. I hope you're doing well. Just thought I would check in with everybody and see how y'all are doing. Yes, girl. No, but I'm so glad you made it. Yay. This light is really bright in my face. I need to turn it down somehow. There. It's like blinding. I'm so glad you're here, No. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Okay. Uh, so me and Santa Claus get to ride in a horse-drawn wagon for the parade. Are you serious? That's gonna be so sweet. Oh my god, you're gonna have to let me see pictures somehow. Hey, just chilling. Chewbacca. She downstairs. She eating. Y'all, she is so stinking cute. I went to Tractor Supply and got her a Coleman jacket because it's so cold out and rainy. So now she's got her own Coleman winter jacket. And it's like as big as my hand. It's so tiny. Yeah, it will be cold borrowed. It will. It's getting cold here fast. Like it's supposed to be in the low 30s tonight in Tennessee. Well, West Tennessee. I don't even want to know what it feels like in East Tennessee because they get cold in the mountains. Romance with Santa. That is precious. That's going to be so cool. Well, so I was gonna give you guys an update on something. So I was trying to get my watch hours up so I could have members. I could have some honeys. My watch hours are going backwards because I didn't reach a certain point within 365 days. So I'm like really upset. Really hurts my feelings. So Landon made a he made this video uh it's like a list. It's like a list you can play on loop, and so I was playing it on loop. Even Santa Claus wears sunblock. That is hilarious. That's great. I love it. That's awesome. That is great. Yeah, it does, borrowed. It really, really does. Um, I was gonna look and see while I got you here and tell you where I'm at because it's aggravating. I'm not playing like, well, somebody's watching it because it went back up. I'm at 200. I'm at 2,854 hours, and I need to get to 3,000. So I got a little ways to go. Hey, Luminous, thank you for coming. Hey, Susie. Yeah, so it went back. It went backwards. Like I came home. Okay, so I had to go to one last Thanksgiving dinner to this evening or this afternoon, and I came home and I was just like, I wonder where I'm at now. I wonder where I'm at because I want to be able to do members only lives, like where we go and we can go to like where Rebecca's at and her baby if my Wi-Fi will pick up. I want to be able to do all the things and just special stuff for the ones who are members. Uh something different or whatever. But it's not like gonna be a huge difference because I still love you even the same. I don't really care, but it's just something that I wanted to be able to say, "Hey, I reached this point in on YouTube finally," um, because you guys know I'm not here for any other reason but just for you. Uh, all the other stuff, it really, It really doesn't mean as much as what you guys mean to me and how you guys are doing. So I checked it and the hours had gone backwards, and I was like, "How does that happen?" But it did. But somebody's watching me on loop right now because it went back up. But, other than that, the puppy's doing well. She's good. She's got our brand new coat, so she's gonna be warm when she goes out now. Hey, Cotton Candy. Thank you. See, I wanna tell you something, Cotton Candy. This is what happened. 2 years ago on the 28th, I had to say goodbye to my 17-year-old Shih Tzu named Tinkerbell, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Well, I noticed that my mental health was declining and it was getting worse, and I couldn't get her off my mind, and I was there's a void there. There was something that was missing, and it changes a person, and it never goes away. I still to this day, um, still miss her and I still think about her, but I got to the point where I was like, "It's okay to move on. It's okay to love again." It's just like any other relationship, I guess, if you wanna look at it that way. Um, so it was one of those things that I had to do for me, and I had to find a Shih Tzu that looked nothing like her. Tinkerbell was white and brindle, and, they have the black and white, and they still looked a lot like her. And then I came across Clarabelle, and Keeping the Bell Alive, and she looked nothing like Tink, but she was perfect in every way, and so she stole my heart, and I brought her home. I found her on a Tuesday night, and I went and got her on a Wednesday morning. This channel is like friends hanging out. That's why I love when I can catch a live. Thank you so much, and that's how I always want it to feel. I just want us to come in here and hang out and talk and see what's going on and vent if we want to, complain if we want to, but just keep it real. So, anything you guys ever want to have a live about? Like, if there's any topics that you guys would like to discuss, or if y'all think that, hey, we need to speak more on this, or I'm struggling with this, and is there anything out there that could help me maybe get through whatever I'm going through, or maybe help me better understand what I'm going through, or after you go through something, it's a life change, and how sometimes that can be scary. A lot of times, you guys, some of our biggest setbacks is based on fear, and that is normal. So if you guys ever have a topic that you would like to speak on, anything, just let me know. We can do it. Yes, she's your baby sister. She gets her hair cut in the morning. Well, her little eyes where she can see me. She's gonna get that done in the morning at 9:30, so I'm excited. Let's see. I wish there was more awareness of mental health through the holidays. I know mental health needs more awareness all the time, but it's much more worse for a lot of times this year. Yes, it is. It is a very hard time of year for so many people, and there's a lot of loss that happens throughout the year that comes full circle during the holidays. Could be loss of a parent, a child, a best friend, a lover, a spouse, whichever. Um, and then some people feel like they just want to give up on themselves and everything. So we have a lot of different situations that happen during the holidays. And you're right, mental health is so important, and to have the understanding of where someone's coming from could be the biggest help to them. Sometimes you just have to be there to listen. Sometimes you just have to be there to protect them from themselves. I mean, it comes in all different situations. I know the biggest struggle for me is the people that aren't here anymore. That's difficult. So, thank you, Cotton. Thank you so much. You hear about me talking about sometimes I have to train myself to do certain things, to take something that I'm doing that is not healthy and it's not productive. And usually it's dwelling on something negative or something that makes me sad. Um, just like to be honest, every year around the holidays it's kind of difficult for me because you know as well as I do that after we get a certain age, our grandparents aren't here, or sometimes our parents aren't here, or our older siblings. There's missing people at the table, and those moments make it so real that they're literally not here anymore, and it's really hard. 'Cause you miss them and you wish they were there, and there's so many things that you wanna do with them and talk to them about, and all you have left are the pictures, if any, of the years before, and then you realize how important those pictures were, those videos. Some people keep their old phones just for that very reason, because they don't wanna lose those moments. I get it. Thank you, Cotton. Oh, borrowed. I know, honey. I need to make a list. Let me get my little notebook out. Yeah, um, I understand, baby. Sorry, I'm writing this stuff down because I wanna make sure that I do it, make sure I get all this stuff down. Because it's important to me if it's important to you, and all of these are valid things. Some are alone on the holidays, and that's where desperation and all the things come from, and they just wanna give up on things, or it just makes them feel so less, important than, say, their neighbors. They see all these people crowded at other homes and they're all there by themselves, and that's gotta be very hard. Balboa Road, sweet baby. It does, it never goes away, does it, Cotton? Like it was yesterday. Ways to reach out to people who may need appreciate some extra love and kindness. Yeah, no, nope, sometimes people need to be loved just a little bit harder at the holidays. Hey, Millie, thank you so much for coming in, sweet girl, I love you. Because it's just a really difficult time. It really is. It really truly is. Thank you for letting her know borrowed. So I think that's an amazing idea. I think that's a great idea. You've been considering ways to reach out to people who need, and that is exactly what so many people need. But this the whole thing about asking or letting someone know. A lot of times you are in your own situation and you're literally the only one who knows about it. But if just one person knew, it could change everything, but it comes down to so many different reasons why: embarrassment, pride, um, not wanting to feel like a burden. A lot of people feel like burdens. Lost my parents 5 months apart, my husband, 2 sisters, 4 children, grandparents, not counting me. I have taken care of hospice and home health care. Susie, you're an amazing woman. I say it every time I see you. Oh, that is so sad. So, no, nope, I guess you may have your calling here. You're right, Cotton. Sometimes they never do reach out, and those are the ones that give up, and they slide into, alcohol or other things, or even worse, they're not here anymore. I know that sounds horrific, but you guys, it's true. Every year you hear about something like that. Well, I do. I hear about someone, it was a devastating event that ultimately they are no longer here. I am too, Millie. I understand. I am grateful and thankful for every day, but I get it. I get it. I do. Mm. So, mental health awareness at the holidays, that was a very good one. Do you guys have any more? I gotta put this on here for borrowed. Changes. Seems like we need to really focus more on mental health situations because it is more than just the holiday season. It's just a lot of times the holiday season brings out the more serious issues. Yeah, you are my honeys. Let's see, Luminous. Think I'll get out and do some volunteer work, even if it's visiting a nursing home. Oh my gosh, sweet girl. The people in the nursing homes, a lot of times, this is the most saddest thing I have ever been told. And I was literally told this by a patient at a nursing home. She told me that this is my waiting place. She felt abandoned and all alone because a lot of times they're tucked there. And I hate to say it, but they're kind of left to their own. And their new family becomes the nursing staff and the residents in that particular facility, which is heartbreaking in itself. And they don't get to see a lot of people. They really do think that they're forgotten about, and they were probably upstanding pillars of their community and did amazing works and did amazing things and were an asset at one point in time, and now that they are just kind of, like, literally, like that little sweet lady told me, "I'm at my waiting place." I was actually there for, Mother's Day handing out roses to all of the mothers, which was every single woman in the facility. I gave them little roses to put by their bed, and I want you to know that there were very few that had a visitor that day. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, there's a lot of stigma around mental health, especially whenever you get into different diagnoses. Like, a lot of people have, like, they freak out whenever they find out someone's bipolar. First of all, let me tell you something. There is not a single person in this world that does not have some type of a bipolar tendency. We all have these moments, we all have these times, you know what I'm saying? Just we all have different things that go on. Just a lot of people are unmedicated, which makes them extremely dangerous. But, not dangerous like, could hurt me, but, they could really spout some things off and really hurt some feelings for sure. Um, that is very sad. So that was for Mother's Day. When my kids were younger, we would do cookies and we would go do the Christmas carols for them. Um, and they were just so happy because, their grandkids don't come to see them if they have any. And, just seeing them clap their hands and patting their little feet, to the and the little bells some of them had on. They had a craft they had, like, a little craft, class they had there, and the ladies had bells on, and all of them had their little bells. The men too. It was really cute and sweet. Yeah, but since my kids have gotten older, and a lot of things have changed since COVID too, by the way, for some of those facilities. It's just different than this is not the world we knew before. It's totally different. Mental health program with several companies. They set booths and reach out to the community. See, I am so grateful for them. See, there are so many good people in here, and that make a difference. And I'm just blessed to know you, and I'm so grateful that you come to visit when I'm live. Well, bipolar, you got it on us, baby, because it looks like we're the same person. I mean, I'll just put it out there. Um, I'm a man. I have depression, and change of the season sometimes brings it on for me, or different marks in the year that something tragic happened, or something that was done wrong, like I was mistreated, or something changed. It was a life change. Something changed. It could be any kind of trauma. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how it affects you as a person, and how you have to work through those things. And it is so hard because no one, this is me, you feel like no one understands. No one's gonna think this is this is serious to me. This bothers me this bad, but no one else is gonna think it does, because it doesn't matter until it happens to you. You ever met people like that? So, it's good to have a support system. One thing that helps me is training myself. Like I was mentioning earlier, you hear me sometimes say, I've trained myself to do this instead. Well, um, whenever I was talking about the place settings at a table, or the people in the room, there's less of them than the year before or the years prior. What I had to train myself to do was go back to those memories where we were laughing at that holiday, or a funny gift that they gave me, or me and that person whispering about how mama's casserole was missing something. I try to think about those things, and it doesn't take the pain completely away, but instead of a tear of sorrow, sometimes I have a tear of joy, and that is my way of thinking that's them comforting me. Um, it is really hard whenever you're so close to someone, and no matter how many years pass, it still feels like it had just happened. And it's moments like that that you really truly wish that you had done more, spent more time with them, asked them more questions, taken more pictures, taken more videos. But the truth of the matter is that you can't change those things. You just have to cherish the things that you do have. And some people think that I'm crazy, but sometimes whenever I have those feelings about my grandmama, I just talk to her, tell her I love her and I miss her. That's just what I do. There are so many things I wish I could ask her now. It's been years since she passed away. She passed away in 2011. But, oh, I'm so grateful for the things that I did ask her. That's how I have to think. I can't beat myself up for what I didn't do, but I can be grateful for the things that I did do. And hopefully If you deal with those things at this time of year, that'll help you. If you can stop yourself in the tracks before it gets to the point where there's no turning back, because I know once those tears stop falling, it's almost damn near impossible to turn them off. I know that. And then if you have depression and other mental illnesses, those things feed it and intensify it, and it's harder for some people to turn those thoughts off. It becomes compulsive or obsessive. That is all normal. But if you can just stop yourself in your tracks before it gets to that point and start telling yourself, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad we had this moment together. Um, and if you come across a picture, I know it breaks your heart, but at the same time, I always consider it a blessing that I had that opportunity to have that photo with her. It's still hard. Susie. Susie says, I talk to my loved ones who's passed all the time, especially whenever I'm in my car driving. I know they are my angels now. Absolutely. And doesn't that feel so comforting? Isn't that's a very comforting feeling, is to know that any given time, anytime you want to, you can reach out to them and you can speak what's on your heart. And I don't care what other people think. I talk to myself in the car too. I hope people driving by think that I'm singing, but if they don't, oh well. I want to do what I do each way. I know, Millie. It is a hard habit to break. Life is never the same without your parents, but you are blessed to have the best. Millie, I see the product of your parents. I think you're the closest thing to a saint on this side of heaven. You have no idea how many times you've helped me and encouraged me. Whenever I didn't feel like going anymore, I'd think about some of the things you've said to me. You're a great person, and I thank you for being here and being my friend, because you truly are amazing. This Thanksgiving was hard. My baby sister passed on her birthday 10 years ago, November 23rd. Thanksgiving fell on that day this year. Remembering her birthday, death day was hard on Thanksgiving, and I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I said a prayer for every one of you guys that, and myself included. I mean, it was hard for me. There were times, but I want you to know that I said a prayer for the people that are going through something just like what Borrowed mentioned. Life is so unfair, and the heartache will always be there. Someone told me one time, "Your grandmother would not want you to be like this." She'd want you to be happy, and she'd want you to do the things that she was unable to do, and that kinda sat with me, instead, because I struggled with it for a long time. That I struggled with that for a long time. You know, let her live through you. Make sure you enjoy those moments, because if she were here, she'd want you to enjoy those moments. But then I felt selfish for it. Do you see how my mind works? And I felt guilty for enjoying myself, and it's just like it was just like a tug of war, emotional tug of war. Um, but at the end of the day, it's true. The people that loved you that are no longer here anymore, they would want you to be happy, and they'd want you to do things that they are not able to do, and they'd want you to enjoy yourself and enjoy your life, because if anything, they know better than anyone how short life is. And how those memories are far and few between, and if you can create them, make them, and hold them dear. Back in July, I lost my oldest sister and she passed by herself in her apartment. I remember the cop telling me, should have, would have, could have is not the way to treat death. It's truly not. But we do it. We always feel like we could have done more, we could have done better. That's natural. But again, we have to stop beating ourselves up for the things that we cannot change. That is something that has taken me a very long time. I still struggle with it. Oh my goodness. If I told you I was past it, I'd be lying. And y'all know I'm gonna tell you. I still beat myself up for stuff, but I have to literally stop myself and say, well, that's not true. And I try to focus on the positive things because it is not productive and I gain nothing from upsetting myself. And if you know it or not, it affects the people around you because people put off vibes, they put off energy. You know what I'm saying? You don't really love them if you're laughing. Yes, I've dealt with that. It isn't true though. I know because I am old enough to comprehend what I want from my own loved ones. There you go. It is okay to laugh and have celebrations because in a way, you're celebrating with them because they're there in spirit, right? You keep people that you care about close to your heart. And there's a reason why people cross our minds at the very moment that they cross our minds. I believe in that. I believe every time that I'll have a random thought about my grandmama that it's I guess it's just my mental way of thinking that she paid me a visit. And I always try to make sure that I respond in a happy way versus woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff. We all fall short. Not a single one of us are perfect, and we fail daily. It's because we're human. No, no, smart. Yeah, exactly. No, no. Loss is loss no matter how you look at it, and no matter how it whatever the demise was. It's still an empty place setting. It's still a space, a void. That's part of life I hate. I wish everyone could live forever and be healthy, but that's not how this works. And whenever it happens, you're never ready for it. I don't care how much you think you're prepared, you are never prepared for it. The aftermath is extremely difficult to get through no matter how much you've prepared yourself. Sometimes you're lucky enough to know it's approaching. We're going to prepare ourselves. We already understand, but it doesn't matter. Once it happens, it is still hard. It's something you cannot prepare yourself for. Sometimes people are in a lot of pain and you've seen them struggle and you want them out of pain and they pass on. And you're like, I'm so grateful that they're not hurting anymore. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And I know where they are. And that gives me peace. That's right, Millie. You never know. So, and then sometimes we have the unexpected, sometimes unfair. They were taken too soon. That is really hard. Sometimes people have a lot of anger, resentment, and they don't wanna experience anything that makes them happy because they feel guilty or just angry and bitter. That's normal. It's not I'm not saying that, it's healthy to do, 'cause I'm not. I'm just saying that a lot of times people deal with that internal struggle with anger, and they blame people, including God, and it is the unexpected is the hardest loss. It is. And it just makes you, question everything. Why? Why this person? Of all people, why this person? Why can't it be a bad person? Even though saying that is just wrong, but you've thought it. It is just not fair, Millie. I understand. Of all people, why? It's just so unfair. So yeah, mental illness at the holidays is extremely important. That's why I prayed on Thanksgiving Day for anyone experiencing any of these emotions, these thoughts, the feelings of some people just give up and they just don't care anymore. Well, I know my grandmama would want us to continue tradition as she did, even whenever I didn't feel like doing any of the things. I did it because that's what she would want. And if she would hear, if she were here, she would be doing. So in honor of her, I participate and I think about all the things that we would secretly say about my mama. So it still doesn't make it any easier. It just kinda makes you not dwell in the sad time, because I can get stuck there really easy. It doesn't take much for me to get stuck in my own head. It doesn't take much for me to beat myself up for things. God knows the world is so cruel and unforgiving. You don't have much positivity out there. Yeah, you have to continue. Continue for the family that you still have. Don't let those traditions fall to the wayside. It always changes. Sometimes you find out who, you know, the string that holds it together could all be one person. And whenever they're no longer here, you see things unravel. And you say they were the glue that kept the family together. Well, for every generation, we need that same string and that same glue to hold things together because there's a younger generation coming up that needs to know that, in my opinion. I mean, you might feel differently, but you know who I'm talking about in your life, you know? There's there was someone who held all the things together. This past Thanksgiving, my daughter and I was talking about how my late husband would wear a silly hat on each holiday. When he passed, I gave her most of his hats. See, that tradition will be carried on. And whenever she sees those hats, I hope that she can recall the exact holiday he wore them. So I hope one day someone will say, "You were the glue that held this family together. You were you were the one that taught us, to continue going. I don't wanna be the one that lets it fall apart, and I encourage every one of you to know someone's watching. You may be the very glue they need in their life to see that things can be held together. I've always wondered about stuff like that, whenever I'm my grandmama's age. What is it gonna be like by then? It's not easy. It is not easy. It's not easy carrying that torch. It is not, because nobody can do it as graceful as the person before you. It is extremely difficult, and they made it look so easy, did they not? They made it look like it was the easiest thing ever, and it's not. But I bet they never complained about it. My grandmama never complained about a single thing. I complain all the time. I'm still working on me. So, are there any other topics that you guys would like to cover sometime? Things that you deal with or struggle with that you would like to maybe talk about? Because I'm willing to do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, if this is where you want to come and just hang out and us talk about some stuff maybe that that we deal with, or maybe you feel like maybe you're the only one. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not the only one, no matter what it is. Um, I wanna be your outlet. I wanna be where we can talk about it and maybe help you see things differently, or maybe you see you're not as far off as you think. We are way too hard on ourselves. We really are. But that's normal, and it's hard not to be, especially if you're a mother. It's really hard, especially if you're a primary caregiver to someone that depends on you. It's really hard. But anyway, if you guys can think of anything, please let me know. Oh, borrowed. Do you know, once I have a members, I was gonna do that. I was gonna do a get ready with me makeup video. Is that not dumb? I was gonna totally do it though. It's gonna be a memories only members only. I'm serious. I was like, "I'm fixing to put my makeup on. We're gonna do a get ready with Bella." So y'all can see what it takes to put that wing on. Okay, please do. Making some food, listening though, and I appreciate you all. Okay, no, nope. I appreciate you. I want to do some more cooking shows. Whenever I first started on YouTube, I was making cookies for my daddy all the time. Yeah. But anyway, I've been on here for 45 minutes. I've kept you guys long enough. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate the ones that shared things. Hold on. She does, and now my granddaughter who never met him sees the hats and she will say, Pawpaw Brandon. See, Susie? He's still here. What a precious, precious thing. Did you know? Nope. Oh, you did? You went on panel? Oh, thank you, Millie. I appreciate that. Same. I'm here too, baby. I appreciate you so much. You literally are one of the biggest saints on this side of heaven, and I mean that. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and, I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Susie, again, Pawpaw is still alive, and that is precious. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs and see what my baby's doing. She was eating earlier. I love you too, Borrowed. I almost didn't do it, but I knew I had, like, a little bit of time where I could, and I wanted to update you all on my watch hours because, like, they went backwards. Which is okay. It is okay. I appreciate everybody that was playing me on loop. That was so sweet for so many people to do for me to get my watch hours up so I can have members. But it's okay. If I don't get there, I just don't get there. I'm here for you guys. I mean, that would be fun to be able to have members and have my own honeys, but it's okay. Members or not, I'm still here. Oh, I'm glad. No, no. Thank you. But anyway, so y'all take care of yourself. I don't have to go back to work until Friday, so maybe I'll do a couple more lives. I like just being able to pop in and check in on everybody and just talk and just chill out. And see what you guys are up to. And if no one's told you today that you're important, I want you to hear it from me that you matter. You're important. Much needed. Well, thank you, really. Love you all. Good night.